Standpoint, we're taking another look at current happenings in Nigeria. And of course, we're going to be asking some questions that would make you put some things into perspective. Now, the first question is, can a protest for a better society be based on a falsehood? And why so much misinformation and widespread fake news and unfounded claims in the wake of present circumstances? Now, while the Lekki shooting should be properly investigated, there is still the need to err on the side of the truth.
It's very sad and it's disrespectful of those gallant young persons who lost their life in the struggle for a better Nigeria, in the struggle to ensure that there's equity and justice in this country. Now, the question is simple. Who shot at the protesters?
In the meantime, the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry has started hearing allegations of extrajudicial killings by the Special Anti-Robbery Squad and other allegations of abuse of powers and the like. Now to the issue of the right to protest. This right involves several exercises of numerous fundamental human rights and is essential for securing all human rights. Unaddressed protest, however, may grow and widen into civil resistance, dissent, activism, riots, insurgency, revolts, and political or social revolution. So what happened in Nigeria, the EndSARS protest, can it really be called a protest or a riot? I
do not support the widespread destruction of properties by hoodlums who sadly destroy the livelihood of fellow Nigerians who are strugglers in the cause. That's very sad. But we must separate the issues and we must be very clear. The looting did not start until after the unfortunate LEKKI incident. The original protesters were peaceful. They were calm. Throughout the protests, they organized themselves in a very orderly manner. They were decorous. They did not harass anybody. They did not loot any shops. It was after the shooting by the Nigerian military that led to the unfortunate loss of lives that mayhem broke loose. And when mayhem broke loose, unfortunately, hoodlums hijacked the protest.
Like an unlawful assembly, a riot usually involves the gathering of persons for an illegal purpose. In contrast to an unlawful assembly, however, riots involves violence. And now we are asking, what about the barricades that we saw on the roads? Even though the organizers of the EndSARS protest insist they did not instigate violence or did not cause the widespread carnage all over parts of Nigeria, what really triggered this? And can they really be held responsible to some extent?
Now, as you are aware, the Constitution guarantees every Nigerian citizen the right to freedom of movement. My understanding of the EndSARS protesters was that they created barricades. And even when they created barricades, there was flow of traffic, but it was not fast. Everywhere. They didn't completely barricade the roads. All right? Now, maybe where they were, they barricaded those areas because of incoming vehicle. And that is sensible so that traffic can flow the other way and not affect the protesters. I was in Abuja and I was in Lagos during the protest. And I saw where roads were blocked by people who were not EndSARS protesters.
Now, under international law, the duty on the state and its law enforcement agencies is to facilitate the enjoyment of the right of peaceful assembly. According to the 1990 United Nations Basic Principles on the Use of Force and Firearms by Law Enforcement Officials in the dispersal of assemblies that are unlawful but non-violent, law enforcement officials shall avoid the use of force or where that is not practicable, shall restrict such force to the minimum extent necessary. Of course, Nigeria is a party and signatory to several other conventions on human rights and, of course, the right to protest and the right to peaceful assembly. Of course, our 1999 Constitution also safeguards the right to freedom of expression, peaceful assembly and the like. And of course, the courts have ruled that you can actually gather on the streets peacefully. You can do that without getting any police order to the effect. But you have to maintain peace, you have to maintain decorum. What played out in Nigeria, even though it started out as a noble cause, we saw a lot of widespread destruction of property. And if you are protesting bad governance, you do not have to destroy the infrastructure. Of course, protesters are saying they are not responsible for the destruction, for the widespread carnage. But remember, public infrastructure is used by the people. They are meant for the people. Avoid arson, avoid destruction of government property or private property, and avoid looting. Your right, of course, matters, and your voice matters a lot. Well, that is it on The Standpoint. I'm Itohan Olomu-Agbodo.